So,
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from HitzAfrik Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafrikradio.org. HitzAfrik Radio News Hour live.
good morning, and the time is exactly 7 o'clock GMT in the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Today is the 20th day of the month, April 2021. Now let's do today's headlines. Ghana Water Company to cut water supply in some areas. Ghana claims 88% of 2020 WASI 8As. Over 500 vaccines of COVID-19 expired. Dr. Kweku Otain surprises Ohima Oyeche. And many other stories I bring your way this morning. Stay tuned as we do the news in details. My name is Abna.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitsafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Now let's do the details of today's news. Ghana Water Company to cut water supply to these areas by Adam Online. The management of Ghana Water Company Limited, GWCL, has announced that there will be an interruption of water supply to the eastern part of the Greater Accra region. In a press release on Adom, placing 200 meters of a weak section of the main 42-inch transmission pipeline from Kpong to Tema around Bechley Junction. This, they explain, will cause the company to lose several volumes of water daily and consequently have a serious impact on the volumes available for consumption. The interruption will begin on Thursday, April 22nd to Monday, April 26th. The affected areas include Afienya, Apollonia, Bechley, Ashaiman, Katamanso, Kakasunanka, Ejei Kojo, East Legon, Transaco, all the communities in Tema, Community 1 to 25, Free Zones Enclave. Also, in the list of affected areas are Tema Industrial Area, Dawenya, Pram Pram, Spintex Road, Bachona, Coca-Cola, Kasaprekun, Manette, Lashibi, Klagon, Sakumono, and surrounding communities. Management is, as a result, entreating consumers in Accra, especially consumers in the eastern part of the metropolis, to store enough water for consumption during the period of the shutdown, part of the statement read. GWCL assured affected residents that the necessary equipment, logistics, and personnel needed for the project have been secured. Hence, the company is expected to stay on schedule in the execution of its plan, barring any unforeseen predicament, adding that the water supply will resume immediately after the project has been completed. Meanwhile, the company said it has put in place measures to serve the affected areas so the impact will not be adverse. The government's COVID-19 free water reservoirs will still be filled with water tankers to enable consumers to fetch for free. Essential service providers like the hospitals and schools will also be served with water tankers. Most importantly, consumers should or must store water ahead of the shutdown to reduce the impact of the shutdown. Management of the JWCL deeply regrets the inconvenience that the interruption will cause, but pleads with consumers to plead with the situation since the project is meant at improving on service to the public. Moving on to other stories. Ghana claims 88% of 2020 WASI 8As NAPO. Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, a total of 411 out of 465 candidates who scored grade A in all subjects at the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination (WASSCE) were students from Ghana's senior high schools. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, immediate past Minister of Education, said at the fourth session of the Fifth Congregation of the University for Health and Allied Sciences on Saturday, he said 2020 became the only year 50% of Ghanaian students scored A1 to C6 in all core subjects. He said the feat vindicated President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's commitment to free education, the lifeline to the nation's growth, and which must therefore be given the needed support. This bears testament to the vision of President Akufo-Addo's free SHS program tells us that when we harness every child's potential and put in the resources and hard work, we enrich our human resource base and put him on her on a path to progress and prosperity. Dr. Opoku Prempeh, who now heads the Energy Ministry, stated. He said the potency of the program was sure to exert pressure on tertiary institutions and urged them to endeavor to harness the capacities of the fine young minds. The minister said, as universities such as UHAS strove to become world-class institutions, they must be considered as national assets, helping to provide a quality workforce. He thus said tertiary institutions must admit students from all parts of the nation and that there should be no discrimination in the recruitment of faculty, students, or management. Ghana has been leading the WASI score for the past 6 years, and the 2020 results doubled the previous year count of 228 A's. Nigeria, Ghana's long rival, claimed the remaining of the 2020 Street A's via Class FM Online. Moving on to other stories. Over 500 vaccines has expired. MyJoyOnline.com site, the Ghana Health Service has discarded over 500 expired COVID-19 vaccines in the northern and Oti regions as of last Friday. This comes after residents of the two regions displayed less interest in getting vaccinated, although the service made several efforts to have the majority vaccinated. Speaking at a media briefing, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje, said the service noted that the expiring date on the second vaccines received was closed, hence a plan to have the regions vaccinated immediately. All regions were able to use it except for 480 doses that were not being able to use in the northern region and 100 doses in the Oti region. He explained that the last 315,000 vaccines that were received, the second one we received on March 30th and it expired on 13th April. So, what it means is that by the time we offloaded the distributed to the region, we started to distribute on Good Friday. That is when vaccines were being distributed before they expire. Meanwhile, the second vaccine Some residents in the northern region tells Joy News they were not convinced the vaccine is safe following the rumor about the negative effects in the public domain. No, I won't take it. People say if you take the vaccine, you will die. So, I don't want to take it and die, a resident said. According to her, a lot of people have said they are not going to take the vaccine, hence, a fear to join the few in taking the jab. For another resident, the rumor that COVID-19 cannot survive under harsh weather conditions, such as the sun, is his assurance of safety. For me, I will not take because the sun that we are inside internally is more than the vaccine that they are going to give us, so the sun is better for me. So I am not to take the vaccine, he said. Meanwhile, Ghana has recorded a significant drop in active COVID-19 cases, thus from over 8,000 to less than 1,000 between February and April 2021. The Ghana Health Service is also giving assurance of the country receiving its second batch of vaccines by May this year. And this is where we land our local story. Stay tuned as we do another update on
The
it.
News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitsafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Cape Town fire contained as firefighters battle windy conditions. A blaze advanced along South Africa's iconic Table Mountain towards central Cape Town on Monday. Firefighters battled strong winds in their efforts to control it, and officials evacuated residential areas. The fire broke out Sunday morning in the foothills of the mountain and spread to the University of Cape Town (UCT), destroying buildings and parts of a library housing a unique collection of African archives while causing students to flee. The blaze continued as authorities were still battling to control it. Cape Town Mayor Don Plato said efforts were currently focused on the mountain above the Verdehoek suburb, with residents being evacuated as a precautionary measure. Strong winds are placing pressure on firefighting staff as it shifts the direction of the fire, Plato told reporters. Aerial firefighting support has been forced to remain aground due to the wind. The cause of the fire is under investigation, with one suspect taken into custody overnight, City Official Safety Chief JP Smith said. Flames have already destroyed the Rhodes Memorial Restaurant, private homes, and historical structures such as the 18th-century Mustard Hill windmill. It is not only the historic buildings themselves that have been lost, but their contents and collections, said the Cape Town Heritage Trust in a statement written from an office enveloped in a pile of smoke. At least three UCT buildings have suffered major damage, including the African Studies section of the library, named after South African businessman and benefactor John William Jagger, and its parquet floored reading room. Some of our valuable collections have been lost, wrote the head of UCT Libraries Ujala Satjor in a Facebook post. Adding a full assessment of the damage had yet to be carried out. Photos accompanying the post showed flames and smoke billowing from the roof and windows of the 1930s column-lined building. No casualties have been reported so far, apart from four firefighters who have been injured. Thick smoke hovered over a deserted UCT campus on Monday, blocked off to students and staff. One student, 20-year-old Cosmas Janau, was walked over from his nearby home to gauge the situation. On foot the previous day, spilling out along the main road. It was just horrible, Janal told AFP. The sky was orange, there were ash everywhere, and everyone was screaming. It was chaos. Janal, a student in business studies, added, all the history that was lost in the library, that destroys me. Hundreds of students housed closer to the blaze have been moved to temporary accommodation. All my readings are there, said social sciences student Impo Mogali, 19, evacuated to a hotel with only the t-shirts, trousers, and flip-flops he was wearing. I have assignment to submit, he worried, biting into a slice of toast. I don't know how we are going to work, he added, since all the library is bent. I don't know how we are going to read. Anthropology researcher Jess Ubak, who graduated from UCT in 2008, remembered the Jagat Library as one of the most inspiring places on campus. It was a place where, as an African undergrad, you could go and see the magnitude of the richness and knowledge from the continent, she told AFP via telephone. Moving on to other stories, Cameroonians pay tribute as last respect to Cardinal Christian Tumi. Many people gathered at the Douala Cathedral in Cameroon on Monday for one of the last tributes to Cardinal Christian Tumi, the beloved bishop who died at the age of 91. His death in early April moved the hearts of the entire country, in particular those of Catholics, as he was a fervent advocate for peace in the Anglophone crisis in Cameroon. Catholics Mbala Dimitri, a funeral attendee, a local businessman, remembers the bishop with such reverence. For the people of God, this is a great man who, living a multi-dimensional man, we have seen the intellectual with his numerous teachings, especially in philosophy. We saw the pastor, he was Archbishop of Douala. We saw the builder. Jacques Moff, a local Catholic priest, records the social impact the bishop had on the entire country. I remember him as a man of truth, a man of sincerity, who loved his country very much and who wanted peace in his country. That's why he was looking for all the ways and means to resolve the situation we are living in now, and unfortunately, he left. He left us with this. I think that's where he is. He must be praying for the country. Cardinal Christian Tumi had fought to highlight a process of dialogue between the government, separatists, political actors, and populations of the northwest and southwest regions of the country. And this is where we end other African countries. Stay tuned as we do the world news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitsafrikradio.org. We are also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms, and we will be much appreciative. Now let's do some world news. Big rise in numbers of migrant children on Mexico-US border. The number of migrant children trying to reach the US from Mexico has reached ninefold since the start of 2021, UN Children Agency UNICEF says. The rise from 380 to nearly 3,500 has overwhelmed the facilities at Mexico's reception centers, it says. The children are mainly from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Mexico itself, have arrived without parents. Nearly 300 children are added to their number every day as they wait to cross into the US or are sent back. The suffocated youth and afraid of a perilous journey. In border towns like Reynosa, migrant families are establishing makeshift camps. We are deeply concerned that living conditions for migrant children and mothers in Mexico could soon deteriorate further, said Jane Gould, UNICEF's Regional Director for Latin America and the Caribbean. Migrant children wait to enter a temporary shelter in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. Joe Biden administration will reunite them with family members there, reports the BBC's Latin American correspondent, Will Grant. However, the Mexican government has recently sent troops to its southern border to clamp down on migration north, and many more unaccompanied young people, the migrant families, are likely to be detained in the coming weeks, our correspondent says. Last week, President Biden reversed course hours after signing an order to keep the number of refugees admitted annually to the U.S. at Trump-era levels. Reports say Mr. Biden is concerned about letting in more people amid a record influx at the U.S.-Mexico border. Moving on to other stories, former U.S. Vice President Walter Mondale dies. Former U.S. Vice President Walter Mondale has died in Minneapolis on Monday, aged 93, his family has announced. Mr. Mondale was Jimmy Carter's running mate for his winning 1976 presidential bid and defeat 4 years later. Mr. Carter said he considered Mr. Mondale the best vice president in our country's history. Mr. Mondale lost heavily to Ronald Reagan in the 1984 presidential election, securing only his home states of Minnesota and Washington, D.C. That gave him 13 electoral votes compared with President Reagan's record high tally of 525. Mr. Mondale is also remembered for choosing Geraldine Ferraro of New York as his running mate, the first woman on a major party presidential ticket. In a statement, Mr. Carter said he was an invaluable partner and an able servant of the people of Minnesota, the United States, and the world. Rosalind and I join all Americans in giving thanks for his exemplary life, and we extend our deepest condolences to his family, he added. Jimmy Carter and Walter Mondale at New York's Madison Square Gardens in 1976. It is with profound sadness that we share news that our beloved dad passed away, a family statement said. In the statement, Mr. Mondale's family paid tribute to his achievements in housing, civil rights, and environmental policy. They said plans for memorials in both Minnesota and Washington, D.C. will be announced later. And this is where we end our world news. Stay tuned as we fetch you entertainment news for today.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitzafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Now let's do some entertainment news. Ghanaian filmmaker Peter Sidofia laments COVID-19 restrictions on film production in Ghana. The filmmaker says Ghana has no support system for its creative industries. Popular Ghanaian filmmaker Peter Sidofia Keteke has called out the country's government over the continued restrictions on film production amid the COVID-19 pandemic. According to an Instagram post shared by the celebrated film director, Ghana is yet to permit cinema owners and filmmakers to return to business since the COVID-19 mandated shutdown in 2020. Three of the big shots, Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya have opened their cinemas for filmmakers who make livelihoods from the cinemas to get back to work. But Ghana says no. They will continue to keep the filmmakers jobless for over a year, Sedufia wrote. The filmmaker also prided Nigeria as one of the African countries where the government invested in the development of its creative industries, unlike Ghana. For French-speaking African countries, almost all have opened their cinemas for filmmakers. Nigerian cinemas have reportedly generated over 2 million US dollars just within the short period they've lifted COVID-19 restrictions on cinema activities. That's relief for stakeholders. Mind you, Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya all have some sort of film funds and or investment banks supporting the creative crafts before and even beyond COVID-19, aided by their government. But Ghana has no such support system for any creative industry. Other Ghanaian film influencers have also weighed in on the government refusal to lift the restrictions on the film industry amid COVID-19 pandemic. The country has recorded 91,709 cases since the virus down to Dr. Kweku Otin surprises Ohima Uyeje with brand new Toyota Land Cruiser. Ghanaian media personality Ohima Uyeje has received a brand new Toyota Land Cruiser as a gift from Dr. Kweku Otin. The radio presenter, real name Harry Adwayebua Esuyama Kusi, after quitting Adam FM, now works with the Angel Broadcasting Network, the media house that runs Angel FM, Angel TV, among other stations owned by the affluent Ghanaian businessman. Samuel Kofi Echampong, CEO of ABN, whilst presenting the brand new white car to Ohima Uyeje said, Ohima is being honored today because of her work and her dedication towards making the brand a big one. He explained that when we decided to come to Accra and we called on her, she gladly agreed to come on board and told us that she was willing to put in hard work to make the brand a successful one, and today it is. Delivering a message from Dr. Kweku Otin to the Angel FM presenter, he said, "This is just to say thank you for all that she has been doing," and emphasized, "We believe that this step will motivate her to do more. We also believe that with her in our circle, we will achieve greater successes." When people put in work, you also need to find ways of letting them know that you appreciate their needs. Samuel Kofi Echampong concluded. Excited Ohima Uyeje received the car with surprise, expressed her gratitude before testing driving it immediately after it was presented to her. Before this, Dr. Kweku Otin, who marked his birthday a few days ago, also gifted Kwame Eugene a brand new Range Rover to appreciate the relationship between them after the singer signed a deal to become a brand ambassador to a brand new product his beverage company produces. And this is where we end our news for today. Stay tuned. Isa fetch you a recap of today's headlines.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from HitzAfrik Radio. Broadcasting live on Modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafrikradio.org. HitzAfrik Radio News Hour live.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio, and we are transmitting live on the website at www.hitsafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live. Now let's do a recap of today's headlines. Ghana Water Company to cut water supply in some areas. Ghana claims 88% of 2020 vaccine 8As. Over 500 vaccines of COVID-19 expired. Dr. Kweku Otin surprises Ohima Uyeje. And many other stories I brought your way this morning. Have a lovely morning. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. My name is Abuna Ahini. Have a beautiful morning.